Yeah, two different learning experiences, right? So many things that we did really well and some things that we can certainly work to improve on. I think in this league you can't get too high and you can't get too low. Obviously, the start of the week was a little bit low, and then our response to that, it's 10% of what happens to you every day, right? And then 90% of how you respond to it. So I thought that our team really responded. It's a 2-game week, and that's how we're looking at 2-game season, and every week is different. And so the important thing is the takeaways are that we learn and grow and improve from our experiences in week 1. Week 2, finding, I think, 2 words that will really be emphasized: the communication on both sides of the ball. We have to communicate better and more clearly and earlier. And then I think the consistency, understanding what happened at Missouri and understanding what happened at home and how we find consistency with more along the lines of a Missouri. So it's important that we continue to get better. Again, I think it's important too, though, to not get too high, not to get too low, and not think if what you did last week is good enough, it's not going to be good enough this week. So it's the ability to hit the reset and find consistency every week.
Congrats on y'all's first conference win this season against Mizzou. I bet that was really exciting. What was the energy like in the locker room and just the trip back from Missouri?
I'll let SA answer that.
Yeah, I think we were excited, obviously, to get our first SEC win. I think at the same time, we knew that the things that we did against Missouri were the things that we have to continue to do every single game. And so we got to get Andy's after the game, and then once it hits midnight, that's over with. And so we're on to the next week, and we've got Georgia coming up on Thursday, and that's really our focus. But we were all happy, and just it was a team win for sure, and everybody felt that in the locker room.
Sarah, actually going back on Georgia, so you're going back to your old stomping grounds. What are you excited about? What are you anticipating for this matchup against the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I loved every second when I was at Georgia, and I love that I came here and that I was able to come home and represent Alabama. And I'm really just excited that, I get to see some people that I haven't seen in a while. I've got a lot of close friends there, so I've got some people coming to watch me play. That's going to be pretty fun. And then the countless hours that I spent in that gym, that's just kind of what it reminds me of. It's just kind of gonna be those games where I'm used to being in that gym and kind of familiar with it. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited.
Either one of you guys can answer this, just certain traits or things you guys did well in Missouri games you're hoping will carry over?
Yeah, I think the execution piece of it, from the scouting report on the defensive end and the game plan execution, the job that we did in transition, how we rebounded the ball, and then, opposite of that, the execution on the offensive end. I thought our execution of the game plan was much improved. Did it have anything to do with styles of play? I don't think so. I think it had everything to do with, us understanding that our preparation and then our our practices led to that, and just appreciate our kids' response, and we have to build on that.
If you put the Ole Miss game and the Missouri game right next to each other, what do you think really clicked and flipped the switch between the team and the camaraderie?
I don't think that we didn't have camaraderie against Ole Miss, but I just think the discipline. We had a lot more discipline, actions on both sides of the ball, and we didn't let affect us what just happened. You got to have a play next play mentality, and I thought we allowed too many things on the offensive end that didn't go our way to affect us on the defensive end, and you can always control how hard you defend and rebound. And but 6 new faces and first time in this league, and there was we're still a team that has a lot to learn, and the SEC, it's not gentle sometime in its teaching methods, so you have to respond and understand the importance of the urgency every day, every moment.
When you talk about response, is that like you addressing the team afterward, or what was maybe practice like between those 2 games last week?
I don't think that, I try to stay consistent. I just thought that our kids, their response was a little different. I thought that we had tried to get their attention a little bit the week of Ole Miss. I feel like our routine, I think it's hard during the holidays. I'm so excited that class is starting. I'm so excited we can get in a regular routine. I'm so excited our practice guys are back. And I thought that toward the end of the week, we were able to really get in a regular routine, and I think that hopefully will be something that can help our team.
Sarah, this might be a dumb question, but how crucial is a routine like that, to just kind of have that rhythm day to day?
Yeah, no, it's very important. I think especially when you're in season in the SEC, every single week is pretty much the same. You're off on Mondays, you practice Tuesday, Wednesday, play Thursday, practice Friday, Saturday, play Sunday. So like when we came back from Christmas, everything was kind of all over the place. When I say all over the place, it wasn't all over the place from a coaching standpoint of how they did things. It was just, it's not our routine of how we do things normally, because you're just put in those situations. You're not in class, and we don't have practice players, so you're trying to get people to come and practice with pulling, some people on the bench to be our scout players, and so it was just kind of a lot. And so I think that now that you're in this routine, I think any day you want to be in a routine. As a person, I want to be a routine, and so I think having this routine helps you in life. It helps you on the court, and so it's very important. So I'm really happy, like Coach said, that we're starting to get into a routine, kind of have the same days pretty much every single week, and so it helps a lot.
Any more questions?
Go for it.
Okay, so New Year's still an amazing team, Coach. I love how you talk about grit, love, and gratitude with this team. But what in practice have you been working on just to get back into what he was talking about, the routine and just more SEC play throughout the season?
Just to really challenge them to make it as game-like as we possibly can, as intense as we can, to simulate exactly what we're about to play. Obviously, each and every system and style of play is a little bit different in the SEC, and this week will be no different with Georgia's zone and their press, and they're playing a little bit more man. But at the end of the day, just their style of play is different than the last two. So the ability to understand as a player, as a staff, that we've got to go out and execute the game plan. So as a player, that should be fun, because you should want to go out and be ready to go. And that's the thing with this team. It's just the youthfulness and the inexperience in the SEC. Some way I've got to find a way to completely make sure we understand that as quickly as possible.
I was going to say, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the challenges that Georgia presents.
Yeah, we got to take care of the basketball. They do a great job with their defense. They're defensive oriented, and they do a great job with their transition game. Nicholson's playing as good as anybody in the league. It's unbelievable to see her growth. She's got the step back going. She's just hard to defend. And so a credit to her. She's a fifth year? And anytime you've played 5 years in this league, you understand what it's about. And so very quickly, we're young at that spot. So it's going to take a great team defensive effort. And we certainly don't overlook everyone around her. So, they have beat a very good A&M team at home. And we understand that was a big win, and they go on the road and didn't have their best day. So both of us last week had a similar week. We didn't have our best day, and then we had a better day. So who's going to respond Thursday night? And that's the toughness and the grit that our expectations is that we are the grittiest team every single day, and we got to find consistency with that.
Notice the word toughness written on the whiteboard out there. How crucial is that, not just this week, but really over the next month or so, that you guys are playing in a lot of games that could maybe figure out the standings a little bit or sort themselves out a little bit?
Yeah, it's really important, because it's not one for the weak. This is not about being timid. It's not about being passive. And I'll be real honest, wasn't very happy after the Ole Miss game. And we watched film. Film doesn't lie. We're going to watch film today of our Missouri, and it doesn't lie. So as much as you teach from the negative, you can also teach from the positive. And our team needs to be mature enough to have the right kind of toughness and mental toughness to respond. So it's something that we challenge. They're the nicest group of kids. And at times, I think we're a little bit too nice when it steps within the line. So we've got to do a better job as a staff and challenge them every day in practice, every day in the film room, every day in our position work, every day in their shooting times, to put them in as much of a game-like simulation as we can. And we'll all continue to work together to make that happen.
When you guys watch film, you do a good, bad, not good, like Saban does.
We probably didn't want to be here last week, but yeah, we do. We always do after wins, a dirty dog, winner of the game, that's overall player of the game, and then a nasty dog, whether those were critical rebounds or big threes or big shots. And we do top 10 plays of the game, kind of like the ESPN Sports Center. But we also teach when things aren't good. So it's more about, the film doesn't lie. And I think that the biggest thing you have to do in the film work is also understand that it's not so much constantly telling them what they can't, but what can you do. And so I think you can get too negative, and we try to find a happy medium with that. It's maybe not the play we wanted at the time we wanted it, and certainly our energy and effort was lacking, but what can we do, and let's move forward from it. So I don't want it to, discourage them or beat them down. It's a fine line because these kids are so hard on themselves, and they have so many outside people in their ear. They're talking to them 90% of the time via text or on the phone every day. And believe me, they're hearing enough. I just want them to be able to focus in on what they can do and not necessarily what they haven't done or what we have done. It doesn't matter today. What happens now is how we handle today and having the best possible Tuesday we can.
Sarah, the idea of toughness, like as one of the team leaders, how do you kind of go about making sure everybody understands that?
Yeah, I think when you think of toughness, you think kind of like diving on the floor and like the strength of it, toughness. But I think just being able to be mentally tough, like Coach was saying. I think that at times when you're when things don't go your way, how are you going to respond? And that's the biggest thing that we've really tried to focus on in a sense of toughness, is just the mental aspect of it. And then also not letting somebody move you around on the court just to push you around and you look kind of, not tough. And so I think that's what showed in the Ole Miss game a little bit, was we just kind of let people just push us around and that kind of stuff. And so I've really just tried to make sure that everybody knows, you got to go in and be gritty. You got to dive on the floor. You got to put your body out on the line and give 100% for the 40 minutes. I promise after 40 minutes you can go and do whatever you want, but 40 minutes, give me it for mental toughness and physical toughness on the court. And so I think that's what we've really tried to do, and I really try to voice that every single day. Is I'm like, come on, give me more, give me more, give me more. So.
I think one of the biggest things with toughness, people think, she had a great game, and she did. How many points did she score? How many rebounds did she get? But it's unbelievable. It's more about, I wish people understood the value of what she brings. She had 17 deflections at Missouri, 17. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. But yet everyone's looking at how many points and how many rebounds and the big shots she hit, and that is so important. But there's a correlation, too, between the little things that you do becoming big things. And 17 deflections in a game, I'm not sure I've seen that in a long, long time. So the little things, that's toughness. A loose ball rebound, a hustle play, a tie-up. You set a great screen. Those are things we teach in film, too. That's toughness, doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it the way it's supposed to be done. So it's been fun because there's nobody that's tougher than this kid here. And she's done a great job of really growing up and being mentally stronger and handling her emotions, and really proud of her growth, and not just from a numbers standpoint, but how she's handling the flow of games.
It's because of her.
No,
She helps.
She's probably tired of me talking to you about it.
No, we laugh about it now.
I think we're good. Good.
Thank y'all for coming.